Weeks ago, I did not think I would be sitting here right now talking about a success story, talking about a comeback story. Even though I was hoping to have a comeback story, I thought the road was going to be much, much longer, and it was scary, to be honest. I knew the injury wasn't going to get better on its own, and I really needed to seek out someone who has experience, but also understands the triathlete and athlete's mindset. You know, you hear of doctors all the time that say, well, you know, just don't run. I knew that there was going to be a point where I didn't run or couldn't run, but I wanted someone who wanted to get me back on track and back in the game. Dr. Brad Holden with Health First Spine and Wellness is that person. He's got a track record. He's done triathlon, and he approaches it not just with the body, but with the mind and with a very real empathy and compassion to want to get you to your goals.
It was a bit of a gut punch when he said that for 2 whole weeks, all she can do is swim. No biking, no running, no lifting, strictly swimming with pool buoy. And when you're working out 16 hours a week, doing all these things, and all of a sudden you can't anymore, it hits you hard. It hits you, it was a gut punch. And for me, myself, and I couldn't imagine the feeling that was going through Tif's mind. I mean, I myself almost broke down in tears when he told us that. It was hard.
I've never really been injured in my life other than, you know, a few days here or there where I have to be sidelined. I've never willingly or forcefully taken off 2 weeks from training. So that was an eye-opener. And maybe in my age has come wisdom that I've decided I'm gonna be the perfect patient because I want to get back on track sooner than later. Dr. Holden got me on the right path. We were doing a lot of therapies, one being called MyAct, which is acoustic wave therapy. Basically, very intense acoustic waves break up the scar tissue in your body. And we worked through the lower back, into the glute, into the leg, and did that for 4 weeks. And I saw progress every single time after I was doing the therapy. There was also some laser therapy that does things I don't even understand, but we're just gonna go with it because it did help me get back on track. And then also what I would call, to me, you know, old school minded, like traction therapy, a decompression table, and I would lay on the table for almost 30 minutes and it would gradually stretch the back out and then hopefully take the pressure off that disc. I was also doing chiropractic adjustments, and those added in with the therapies all made big progress, and I could see just about every week that I was better and better step by step. When you give yourself to a sport or something that you're passionate about for 13 years, it's really tough emotionally to not be able to do that, to not be able to go out and train, to not be part of the group, to not feel like you're included anymore because you are over on the sidelines and everybody else is literally running laps around you. I think the lowest point in this whole ordeal wasn't the pain that I was living with or feeling every day. It was the mental struggle of seeing everyone else go out and perform and thinking in my mind, that used to be me. And I am so proud of Caitlin and her accomplishments and her growth and her achievements. And it's, again, gonna be one hell of a season for her. But the hardest part for me was a team track workout. At that point, all I was cleared to do was just walk. And my goal that day was to walk for an hour continuously while Caitlin and the rest of the team did the track workout. And I remember being so deflated and so dejected that Caitlin was lapping me. For every 1 lap I did, she was doing 2.5 laps. And every time I would get to the lap point and she would be there with her group and they would just be taking off, and it's just kind of, you know, made me feel left behind, made me feel like I didn't belong, where just a few short months ago I was right there. So that's really hard. You know, we are not competitive with each other. It was just me feeling unable and nothing I could do about it other than keep going through the process and keep being patient. So there were some really tough times, and that was probably one of the toughest.
Tiffany and I, we've got a pretty set routine that we go through day in, day out. And this injury really threw a wrench in it. It really kind of threw us both off our game. And to say that there wasn't any, tension between the two of us, I'd be lying. But, we both overcame. We didn't put it on each other. We know that it's just an injury. We're gonna come back from that. Tiffany's gonna come back from that, and she's been coming back from that day in, day out. I've seen her fight through it. I've seen her do everything that's been prescribed to her to a T. I know the frustration that she's had. It wasn't towards me. It was just towards the injury itself, and just how maddening and upsetting, and just all the negative emotions, I guess, but she handled it really well. To see how far she's come in the past few weeks working with Dr. Holden and all the therapy that she's been going through, I've seen just every day she's been getting better and better, and we're getting back into our daily routine that we know and love and just know how we thrive in.
When I went back and did that first run 4 weeks from the 3M half marathon, I was like, man, I feel like I'm starting all over again. I feel like I'm a beginner. I feel like I've never done this before. Even though the run felt okay, it was very, very humbling, but I was also appreciative that I was back up and running. But at that point, I still had no idea if Galveston was gonna be possible, because we're cutting it close. So still struggling mentally, emotionally, in the beginning stages of getting back up to speed. I think the thing that has come back the best is my bike. I've been able to get on the trainer and pretty much do the workouts as written. Even though my power's lower than it should be, it's still pretty good considering I was laid up for 4 weeks and injured, truly injured. So I'm happy with where I am on the bike right now, and I feel like I'm gonna make some really good gains over the next few weeks, and I'm gonna be close to where I would like to be for Galveston, and maybe even I can hit the targets that I'd like when I race Galveston, Ever since that first run, I've been building up. I did a total of 9 miles of running the first week back, but it was all broken miles. So at most I was running a half mile and then walking for a bit and then repeating that. I
feel that even at this point, I'm seeing her runs that she's doing, and I'm like, oh man, when she hits 100%, it's game on.
We'll see what happens. I'm hoping to keep swim, bike, run over the next 4 weeks and get out there and get ready to crush things. But like I said, it's a comeback story, and I like the way this next chapter's going.